That thing's shifting, dude. I gotta do something. I'm shooting right into this right this way. If I go that way, I get green lights.
Hey, tell them to record on pool 1 and they'll get some angles.
What?
Tell them to record pool 1 and they'll get some angles.
What is it?
Pool 1.
Pool 1?
We'll be ready to get started in just a minute. Waiting on everyone to show up. Does that still work? Does that still sound good?
Yeah.
It's a little less in your face.
Alright, showtime.
nothing we can say. Yeah. All right, I think we're going to go ahead and get started. I'd like to introduce General Al Zapanta.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Major General Albert Zapanta, a Vietnam veteran as well as a member of the Dallas Veterans Day, Greater Dallas Veterans Day Foundation and chairman of the 2020 parade that we conduct, and we've been doing this for the last 23 years. And it's my honor to introduce our team from our foundation, and then it'll give me great honor to introduce our mayor. Most specifically, I'd like you to know that the Greater Dallas Veterans Day Foundation has come together because in 1998 we had our first parade commemorating November 11th, Veterans Day. As you know, Veterans Day became a commemoration called Remembrance Day right after the First World War. And then the Second World War, it was renamed what we now know as Veterans Day. It is to commemorate all the service of all our military services, Army, Navy, Air Force, Marine Corps, and now Coast Guard, as you know, are now part of the armed forces as well. The other that's important is that why do we do this? We do this to commemorate the service of all our members of our armed forces, but most specifically, we also have a very, very important date, and that's the last day of May, which is Memorial Day, and those are for all our brethren that have departed in combat or during times of strife, war, etc. So today is for all of us that have served, and so at this time, I would like to introduce our chairman of our Greater Dallas Veterans Day Parade, Tracy Fisher. Tracy. Next, I'd like to introduce Brigadier General Larry Patterson. Next, I'd like to introduce Colonel Ken Cordier. Ken is an Air Force colonel, but he's also spent 7 years as a POW, as a combat strike fighter pilot that was shot down over North Vietnam. So Ken has a special part of our family. Pat Teipel, who was the co-chair with me on the foundation, our parade in specific, and did the workhorse for us. There'll be a final Colonel Don Munson that'll be joining us. And so at this point, that's our delegation. I would like to also thank Councilman Jaime Resendez for being with us. Don Jaime, on the stuff. Thank you, guys. Also, City Councilman Chad West. Thank you, Councilman. And again, it gives me a great deal of honor and pleasure. And I have to tell you this, I just got through having a moment with Mayor Eric Johnson, and to hear how he feels about today and why he's here with us, and never took a second or a moment to say anything but yes, and what can we do, and I'll be there. So, ladies and gentlemen, it gives me a great deal of honor to present the Mayor of Dallas to you to celebrate our ceremony called the 11th Hour Veterans Day. Mayor Johnson.
Well, good morning. I want to say thank you, General Zapanta, for your service and for that very kind introduction. Veterans Day is a solemn day of remembrance and celebration of those who have honorably served our country. We have 2 city council members who are veterans, and I'm so honored that they were able to join us today. Councilmember Jaime Resendez and Councilmember Chad West. Thank you very much for being here, and I know they're going to have some things to say in just a moment. To both of you, I want to say I really appreciate very much, and I know we all do, your service to our country, but also your willingness to serve this great city. So thank you very much to the both of them. Last year, the 3 of us and many others stood right here in this spot in the rainy, cold weather of that day before a crowd of hundreds as we kicked off our annual Veterans Day parade and festivities. This year, of course, we have to make sacrifices to prevent the spread of COVID-19, a pandemic that has already taken the lives of more than 239,000 of our fellow Americans this year. But what has not changed from last year is my belief that Dallas must make the effort to prepare our veterans for a long life after combat. Veterans face unique challenges while reintegrating back into our workforce, back into family life, and back into society. We need to do for them what they were willing to do for us, and that is to fight for them by fighting for Dallas to become the best city in the United States to be a veteran. Today, I'm excited to announce a new initiative to help us achieve that very goal. I have asked our Workforce, Education, and Equity Committee, which is chaired by Councilmember Casey Thomas and vice chaired by Councilmember Jaime Resendez, to develop an ordinance that will establish the first ever Veterans Affairs Commission in the city of Dallas. With services fragmented throughout our city, the Veterans Affairs Commission will help the City Council to properly assess their needs and our current services. And this commission will serve as a contact point for veterans who need help navigating city government. This is important because our city is home to nearly 43,000 veterans. That means we have more veterans in the city of Dallas than the entire population of several of our neighboring cities here in North Texas. And we play an important role in the lives of veterans throughout this region. We have a veterans court to help our veterans deal with misdemeanor citations. We're home to the Dallas VA, and our city government employs more than 1,000 veterans. I'm very excited about this new initiative because we owe our veterans our gratitude and our commitment to work to make their lives better. As I said last year, with the right programs, the right job training, and the right guidance, we can help our veterans lead the kind of lives that they fought so hard for all of us to be able to live in this country. And we can decide how to best invest in our veterans and prepare them for the jobs of tomorrow. So I want to say thank you to all of you for being here. I want to thank all of our veterans who are here for your service. God bless you. God bless the city of Dallas. God bless the great state of Texas. And of course, God bless these United States of America. And with that, I'll turn it over to my good friend, City Council Member Jaime Resendez Sr. Thank you, Mr. Mayor, for your words and for your initiative. I look forward to trying to do everything we can on our committee to bring this to reality. So my name is Jaime Resendez, City Council member for District 5 in Southeast Dallas. I'm sure some of y'all know that, but what some of y'all do not know is that I'm also a military veteran. I joined the Army at the age of 17 before graduating from high school without fully understanding what I was getting myself into. That decision dramatically impacted my life. I ended up serving 8 years in the Army Reserves as an engineer, including a year-long tour of duty in Baghdad, Iraq. My service in the Army enabled me to get an education and eventually attend law school and become an attorney. Veterans Day is important to me because I know firsthand the tremendous sacrifices that our veterans make for our country. For generations, veterans have earned with their blood, sweat, and tears the recognition that comes with Veterans Day. Today, I want to honor veterans from every branch of service, especially our brethren that made the ultimate sacrifice. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for your service.
Good morning, everybody. Chad West, Dallas City Council District 1. I also served in the Army from 1999 to 2003 in San Antonio. Brought me to Texas, actually, over 20 years ago, and I served overseas in Hungary and Bosnia for about a year. I chair the city's Housing and Homelessness Solutions Committee. Mayor Johnson made homelessness a true priority for the city when he created this committee and gave homelessness a place on a committee, a named committee, for the first time that I'm aware of in the history of Dallas. As part of the agenda that the Housing and Homelessness Solutions Committee has taken on, we've taken on the challenge to end veterans' homelessness by the end of 2021. No one in the city of Dallas should have to experience homelessness, especially not our men and women who have served our country. We currently have a working group that is meeting every other week, made up of MDHA, the Metro Dallas Homelessness Alliance, Dallas County, Collin County, and some of our care providers. They're meeting every other week with the target goal of ending veterans' homelessness by the end of 2021. Right now, we are on track by the end of this year, 2020, to be able to house more veterans each month than enter the system each month. Meaning, instead of having an upward trend, we're going to have a downward trend starting at the end of this year. This is a major milestone and the first step in ending veterans' homelessness. We project that starting in January of 2021, we will be housing 44 veterans per month from the system to effectively get us down to being able to house every single veteran that enters the system within a month by the end of 2021. I want to thank Mayor Johnson for making veterans homelessness a priority, for making homelessness in general a priority, and for founding this committee. I want to thank Kevin Oden with the Office of Homelessness Solutions for taking it seriously and grabbing the bull by the horns and charging forward on this, and our city staff for enabling him to do so. It's an exciting time for veterans because we've got to end homelessness now. And to me, there's nothing better. I want to be able to stand here with these fine men and women next year and say we have effectively ended veterans homelessness, and I believe we can do it. Thank you.
I'd like to introduce Tracy Fisher.
Good morning. I'm Tracy Fisher, the chair of the Greater Dallas Veterans Foundation. Really proud to be here today. It's an unusual year, as someone has mentioned. We usually have flags draped everywhere in this plaza, and we are thrilled every year to honor a theme for the parade. And this year's theme for the event is commemorating the end of the 75th anniversary of the end of World War II, the greatest generation. And so with COVID, like so many others, we've had to pivot this year to a virtual celebration. So what you'll see if you tune into our Facebook page, you will see streaming on there an honor, a 21-minute veteran celebration honoring the men and women from the greatest generation, as well as honoring all of our veterans here today. So feel free to share that and look at it. I think you'll find it very memorable. Scott Murray and Murray Media were able to put it together for us. So today is a very special day, and every year we always have a coin that commemorates the event. And this year our coin is, as I said, the end of celebrating the 75th anniversary of the end of World War II. And so I have 3 coins here, one for the mayor and then each of the 2 councilmen that are here today, to thank them for their service to our community and to our country. So thank you very much. I want to honor you with that. And then one of our foundation board members here is Ken Cordier. Colonel Cordier, as was mentioned by General Zapanta earlier, served at the Hanoi Hilton, and he has a very special recognition or coin, I guess, to share with the mayor. Thank you.
All right, that wraps up our speakers. Does anyone have any quick questions? I think we could have Vice Chairman Resendez answer that, but right now we're still dealing with a proposed ordinance, so it's got to work its way through the committee. They'll work on it, they'll kind of determine what the purpose is from there. So still in the early stages, they have to actually establish it first, but that'll be part of the discussion. I don't know if you want to add anything to that.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Dr. Katina Robertson, and I am a United States Navy veteran. I work here with the City of Dallas, and I'm here also with the president of the Veteran Employee Resource Group, which we instituted in 2018 for the City of Dallas. So Rafael Ariando is the president, and we have a group of 9 members that it's called the Veteran Employee Research Group, which we affectionately name VERGE. And we just assist veterans in whatever their need may be. My biggest passion is that everyone goes through life challenges, but there's no reason why veterans should commit suicide. We have so many resources available for us. So here at the City of Dallas, having over 1,000 veterans, I wanted to make sure, or we want to make sure, why don't you come up here and stand with me? We wanted to make sure that no City of Dallas veteran resorts to that. And so on my watch as the president from 2018 to 2020, there was none. And I'm entrusting that in 2020, 2021, there will be none. So on this new commission that the mayor talked about, I'm hoping that we can come up with several strategies to make sure that any employee that's employed with the City of Dallas is okay. So, Rafael.
We're also hoping to integrate and ensure that we support this effort as much as we can. Again, thank you for the day.
I have one more question. Sure. I'm interested in the origin of this, and if you answer it, we're going to need your name and spelling.
Sure. The origin.
But, is anybody aware of any other effort anywhere in the country to do this? Mayor, did you come up with this yourself? It's very interesting, and you would have a great head start on a lot of people to make this the best place for veterans ever. So if you want to talk about it, go ahead, please.
Sure, happy to speak to that. So we didn't create the model. I'm not sure how many municipalities have done this, but I know the state of Texas obviously has a similar type of structure. What we wanted to do was we wanted to have here at the city to deal with the fact that we have such a large community of veterans. 43,000 is a lot of people. Like I said, I mean, that's larger than some of our surrounding municipalities. We wanted to make it as easy as possible, particularly given we have 2 council members who've served themselves and understand this issue. We wanted to make sure the city was doing everything it could to be a one-stop shop and to be very accessible and convenient for our veteran community to access services. I've been focusing, long before I became mayor, on workforce development. I've been talking about workforce. Workforce is not just an issue that impacts our young people. We're not just talking about people who are coming out of high school. We're also talking about folks who are veterans who are trying to figure out how to transition into the civilian workforce and making sure that what they know and what the skills they've acquired are not being wasted, but it can be more seamlessly integrated into our local economy here. The city can play a role in making that transition more seamless. We want to make sure we address veterans' homelessness, which Councilman West mentioned. These are all things that we want to do, but we're doing them in different places. We want to bring them under one roof and in one place, and we want our residents, particularly our residents who are veterans, to have a seat at the table to help us understand how to better do that. That's why the Veterans Affairs Commission is being proposed as another border commission of the city, that every council member would have the ability to appoint a single member to it. And so it would be a citizen driven, a resident driven, a veteran driven, community driven effort. This is not sort of a government telling everyone else how to do things. We're going to be getting input from our residents and from folks who know something about this to better deliver on those commitments. So that's how it would be set up, and we need the committee to vote out an ordinance that will create that commission, and then we can start appointing people to it and get to work.
So,
Go ahead.
it seems like a fair amount of work has already been done on this, even though you're just kind of coming together. Has the word gotten to the community, the homeless community, that help is on the way, and have you started identifying a lot of these veterans?
Well, today we intended today to be our coming out party, so to speak. So we are now in the process of, talking about it. But I believe very strongly, you've probably heard me say this before, in process and making sure that the council's committees are where most of these policy ideas go through, so they can be discussed and they can be worked on. So this is something I wanted to go through a committee, and it's going to go through the committee that I think is most appropriate to deal with this, which is the committee that deals with workforce and equity. So it's going through that committee. The vice chair is a veteran. I think it's a perfect fit, and so they're going to work on it. I don't want to get out ahead of them, but they know what the goal is. The goal is to make sure that the 43,000 veterans in this city are living in the best city in the country to be a veteran. And so that's their charge, and I'm looking forward to the work that they produce. But it will go through a committee, and there will be an opportunity for the public to have a say at that point as well.
Mayor, your take on no Veterans Parade today?
I mean, it's the same way I felt about a lot of very important events that we've had to just not do because of the pandemic. My grandfather fought in World War II. Was honorably discharged, and he actually is the reason why we're in Dallas. When he lived in Marshall, Texas with my grandmother and their one child at the time. When he was discharged from the Army, they moved to Dallas and moved to West Dallas when they opened the housing projects, and that's how my family came to be a Dallas family. So the veteran community is an important community to me. It's very personal for me. I think about him every year at this time. That parade is a great show of our appreciation for all the men and women who serve. So I miss it. But I wanted to say this to everyone who's listening. This too shall pass. We are going to get past this, but we have to make some sacrifices in the name of public safety right now. And just like we're not having this parade, which I'm sad about, we're also going to have a different Thanksgiving this year than we're used to having, and probably a different Christmas than we're used to having, and a different New Year's than we're used to having. But we are getting closer to having this be behind us. And so I'm just asking everyone to be patient and everyone to be understanding that we're not trying to be killjoys. We don't want to not honor our veterans, or we don't want to not celebrate family, and we don't want to not trick or treat, but we want to make sure that everyone lives to see this time next year, and that's our goal.
Even outside the commission, we want to talk about the importance of a day like today to bring attention to some of the issues that veterans might face, like when they come home, if they're healing, if they need help getting a skill they can put in the workforce, or whether they have post-traumatic stress, or whatever issues they have, to be able to rejoin the community.
So the question is, outside of the commission?
Yeah, it's just talking about the importance of Veterans Day to get attention to these issues.
Oh, of course. Well, I think any time you have the opportunity to have people focused on an event or focused on a celebration or a holiday, it's an opportunity to advance knowledge about that topic. I think, for example, the Martin Luther King Jr. holiday is an opportunity to not just celebrate the birthday of Dr. King, but to talk about racial justice and equality and all and peace and things that he stood for. Same thing with this holiday. It's not just a day to not do anything. It's just, it's a day to honor our veterans, but it's also a day to think about what they fought for and what we owe to those folks who were willing to pay the ultimate price in some cases, but in any event, were willing to put their lives on the line for the rest of us. And so I think it's a great opportunity to draw attention to a community that's a significant and important part of our city, that we could do a better job of delivering services to, and do a better job of actually listening to more about how to be a more inclusive city. So I'm hoping that this is exactly what happens, that people will be paying attention today and hear what we're trying to do and support what we're trying to do.
Thank you.
Oh.
Thank you.
Thank you.
They've got to go to Red House.
Muchas gracias. ¿Aquí? Ok. Sin máscara, con máscara.